in a shooting near one of Tel Aviv's most popular outdoor markets. Let's dip into CNN International.
To the public there, and there were no explosive devices inside the restaurant area. Most of the area for approximately half a kilometer, half a mile around there is still cordoned off.
Mickey Rosenfeld, just so our viewers know, we're seeing pictures here coming to us from Channel 2 television in Israel. You mentioned two suspects in this case. They've been apprehended. Is that correct?
That's correct. Two suspects, as far as I know, have been apprehended at the scene. I can confirm that one of them was shot, and I'm not sure what his condition is. The second suspect himself was being questioned at the moment by police. Our main emphasis at the moment is to prevent and make sure there is no further terrorists in the area. But what we have confirmed is that it was a terrorist attack that took place here in Tel Aviv this evening, and our emergency and special patrol units are still working at the area in order to make sure that there's no further danger.
All right. I want to welcome our viewers in the United States as well as we cover this breaking news out of Tel Aviv. Can you tell us what weapons were used?
That's something we're looking into at the moment. Our bomb disposal experts and our counterterrorism units are still at the scene searching. We're carrying out a thorough examination. Our main emphasis at the moment is to make sure that within inside the restaurant areas there's no further danger, no explosive devices. But we're going to look and find out exactly how those two terrorists made their way inside central Tel Aviv area. And the investigation is continuing and operations are continuing still around where we are.
So just to recap for our viewers around the world, 9 people were injured in a shootout outside a popular market in Tel Aviv. We understand that shots were fired. But Mickey Rosenfeld, what you're saying is that authorities and forces there are sweeping the area to make sure there are no explosives. Is that correct?
That's correct. Inside the restaurant area, we're still making sure that there is no explosive devices. Our bomb disposal experts are searching the areas. We've confirmed until now, we're talking about just 45 minutes after the attack and shots were fired, 9 people have been taken to hospital. The area is still cordoned off. We've asked and requested for members of the public to stay away from the area until the police operation there is concluded.
And the 2 individuals you're saying who are suspected of having carried out this attack, one was shot, but you're not sure of his condition. What about the other one? Is he in custody?
The other suspect is being held and being questioned now how he made their way into that area. Still the side areas, the streets are still cordoned off, and our main emphasis is to make sure at the moment in terms of the members of public that are in and around the area that there's no immediate danger. And that's why we're still swarming and working through the shopping area to make sure that there's no further terrorists in the area.
I was going to ask you, any more suspects, any more people you believe on the loose at this stage? As we continue, by the way, to watch live coverage from Channel 2 in Israel here. Any more suspects?
All of our emergency services are still here at the scene, and all of the hospitals around the Tel Aviv area are still being opened up. But there was no specific warnings that we had of a terrorist attack that was going to take place this evening. There was no real information that we had received, and therefore the rapid response of the police officers in the area was critical and vital, although of course it took approximately about a minute till the first units were on the scene, and that's why there were so many individuals that were shot, 9 people altogether.
All right, 9 people, but no fatalities, but 5 in serious condition in Tel Aviv taken to hospital. Is that the casualty toll so far, 9 injured?
Those are the numbers we have until now. We're working together with different emergency services in order to make sure that there are no further injuries and no further people being taken to the hospitals. We're still focusing on making sure that the area, there is no immediate danger. And once that stage will be over, then we'll go into a deep investigation as to find out what the identity of those terrorists are, where they came in from, if they possibly came in from the Judea and Samaria, the West Bank area, or if they worked in the area and they were familiar with the area. That's something that's all going to be investigated.
All right, Mickey Rosenfeld is the spokesperson there for police forces, joining us from Tel Aviv. If you could hold on, and hopefully we can get back to you once you have more information. Oren Lieberman is in Jerusalem, and he joins us now as well with the very latest. What more can you tell us here? We understood from Mickey Rosenfeld here, 9 individuals injured in this shootout. Mickey Rosenfeld saying perhaps they are sweeping the area. Hopefully there are no explosives or other devices, but that this was a gun attack. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, it's a mass shooting. We just got the latest update from another police spokesman who says there are at least 2 attackers who were neutralized. Now, that can mean they were either captured or shot and killed, and they're still searching for 1. So as of right now, it appears there are a total of 3 attackers that opened fire in 2 incidents or 2 shooting incidents very close to each other right at a very popular open-air almost market right in the center of Tel Aviv called the Sarona Market, a very popular place, especially at night. There would have been a lot of people there at this hour. Police say at 9:30 they got the first reports of a shooting. Just a few minutes later, they got a second report. That's when they got to the area and found those 9 people injured, 1 critically, at least 2 seriously, and a number of others. Police and first responders say they're also treating a number of people for shock at this time.
And this was really less than an hour ago, because currently it's 10:20 in Tel Aviv, right?
Right. This all moved very quickly. We got the alert and we started getting the number of injured very quickly. And again, that latest update that there are now, it appears the latest information is that there have been 3 attackers. 2 were neutralized. They are still searching for 1. The attack happening right in the center of Tel Aviv on a Wednesday night, a beautiful night out here. It would have been a very busy place that the shooting happened. Incidentally, it is also right next to the Ministry of Defense headquarters in the center of the city.
All right, right next to the Ministry of Defense. Now, Oren, 3 attackers, 3 suspects in this particular case, 2, quote, neutralized. According to Mickey Rosenfeld, 1 was shot, not sure what condition he's in, another in custody and being questioned, and potentially a 3rd on the loose. So, presumably people still very nervous there in Tel Aviv.
Yes, Tel Aviv is we've seen a lot of attacks over the last few months, more than 6 months at this point, although they have certainly quieted down over the last 2 or 3 months. Tel Aviv has, for the most part, been isolated from these attacks, or insulated, I should say. Not to say that it hasn't seen attacks, but not many, and they've been far apart. This is another one of those. This is a very significant attack, certainly 9 injured, 1 critically, a number of others seriously injured. So people absolutely on edge tonight in Tel Aviv.
So you mentioned the Sarona Market. This is a very busy, bustling place in Tel Aviv for people who aren't familiar with it. Mickey Rosenfeld, if you're still on the line and you can hear me, our Oren Lieberman from Jerusalem spoke to a police source who indicated potentially a 3rd suspect. Is that what you're hearing?
What we've confirmed until now is that the 2 suspects that we had and that have been arrested at the scene are being questioned. We have 1 that was already apprehended. The second one, I'm not sure what his condition is. That's what I know in the moment until now in terms of what took place outside the central area where the shops and restaurants are. As I said, our counter-terrorist units are still inside the shopping mall area, making sure that there are no further suspects. It's not clear, and we haven't cancelled out that there are no further suspects. But what we do know until now, and what we're emphasizing, is we're searching the area to make sure there's no explosive devices in and around that area, which could be a major threat, both for our officers or members of the public. That's why at the moment the area is still cordoned off for in approximately half a mile in each direction, and only emergency services and counter-terrorist units and special patrol units are still working at the scene. As far as we're concerned, that the terrorist attack is still not fully over, and therefore we have to cancel out the possibility of any further terrorists. Until now we have confirmed 2, and we're still continuing to work in the area.
And can you tell us what kind of weapons you understand were used with 9 people shot? I mean, presumably these were some high-caliber assault rifles, or do you know? I mean, can you confirm that?
That's something that's still being investigated at the moment. If we connect to what we have and what we know in terms of intelligence, there was no specific warnings that we had received. We're going to be looking at to see exactly where those weapons came in from, where those suspects came in from, whether they were familiar with the area, the Tel Aviv area. That's something that's also very important in terms of how the attack took place, whether it was planned ahead of time or whether it was carried out sporadically when those 2 suspects, as far as we know, got hold of those weapons. It's all something which is being looked into. Our main emphasis, and it's important to differentiate, our main emphasis at the moment is to make sure that there's no further incidents and that we've cleared out the area and there's no further danger. Once we've completed that, then we'll move to the next phase, which is, of course, the investigation. And at the same time, I can also confirm that if we know that those terrorists came in from the West Bank area, no doubt there'll be police and IDF operations that will take place almost immediately in order to probably look and find suspects from those
That's not
areas
something
as well.
you've confirmed so far, is what you're saying. You have not confirmed
No,
an
not
ID.
yet. We don't
You
know
don't
the
have a
exact
confirmed ID.
identifications yet, but normally and what we're familiar with and what we do is we'll make sure that we get to the different areas where those suspects have left from. Over the last couple of months, the situation has been relatively quiet in terms of the number of attacks. There's been a decrease in the number of attacks that have taken place. We only dealt with knife attacks. And obviously this evening is something that we're going to have to be looking into as to the behavior of those terrorists, how they carried out the attack. And of course, as far as we're concerned, heightened security is continuing at the moment where we are.
And this is, as our Oren Lieberman was telling us, this is, I mean, Tel Aviv is not, it's been insulated. You've mentioned yourself that there was a period of quiet. Unfortunately, this terrible attack happened, injuring 9 people. But this is something that you haven't dealt with in a while, right? I mean, you've had the knife attacks, and in this particular case, this is not something that you said you had any intelligence pointing toward.
The last shooting attack that took place in Tel Aviv was months ago. It's been very quiet, and there haven't been any major attacks. We dealt with only knife attacks. I think that obviously we'll have to step up security in and around the different areas, both in Tel Aviv, both in Jerusalem, and, of course, prevent any further terrorist attacks. It's also going to be necessary for intelligence circles to look and find where those terrorists came in from, how they got hold of those weapons. That's part of the thorough investigation. This is not, unfortunately, the first attack that has taken place. But, of course, our units will be working on that throughout this evening.
All right. And Mickey Rosenfeld, I just want to tell our viewers that the Israeli Defense Forces, the Israeli military, has tweeted out, actually, and I'm reading this for the first time, that they have confirmed, there it is, at least 1 fatality in Tel Aviv shooting attack. So, unfortunately, there's some bad news there in terms of the actual toll itself. 1 fatality, that would mean 8 injured, several people in serious condition. And all that, has that area been, and we'll get back to Mickey Rosenfeld in a moment, just if you could stand by. Phil Black, I understand, is joining us as well. He's in Jerusalem. Phil, tell us about this particular neighborhood of Tel Aviv, because this would be a very busy area on a Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Tell us about the environment there where this attack unfolded.
Hala, it's an area that's all about people enjoying themselves. It's a market area essentially, but it's about restaurants, entertainment, and as I know we've been talking about on air this evening so far, it is an area where on a sort of a beautiful, lovely Israeli evening like tonight, it is where people go to enjoy themselves, socialize, eat, drink, that sort of thing. So it is that classic soft terror target in a sense. And you're right, what we're hearing now from the hospital in Tel Aviv is that one of those people has been killed, so at least 1 fatality as a result. The initial reports said that there were 9 injured, 1 critical. We presume that one of these people have now died, so 8 people injured. So far, as you've been hearing from the police there, 2 suspects involved in the shooting have been neutralized. And although from the police spokesperson you're hearing there, they're only confirming 2 at this point, we're hearing from another police source that there is a 3rd person that they are looking for as well. So at the moment, 2 shooting suspects have been neutralized. It seems that 9 innocent people in total killed, and of those so far, 1 of them has died as a result of the injuries. Helen.
Right, because Mickey Rosenfeld, who's a spokesperson for police forces there, is saying 2 that they know of, both apprehended, 1 injured, shot. Not sure what the second suspect's condition is, but potentially that a 3rd attacker may be on the loose in this case because not apprehended. And just to recap, it is 9 people injured, but it appears as though 1 of those individuals was killed. Tell us a little bit more about the potential 3rd attacker and what you're hearing from that police source.
Just one further update that I'm just being told in my ear as we speak, Hala, the number of people who have died as a result of this attack is now 3. So 3 people have been killed as a result of this shooting in this market area in central Tel Aviv, the Sarona market, a busy entertainment area, very busy at this time on a Wednesday evening. At least 2 gunmen have been involved in this attack. As I say, we believe there could also be a third that the police are looking for, but at this point we're certainly sure that they have confirmed 2 of those attackers have been neutralized. And as a result, this is the latest information that we have just received, and that is that in total 3 people so far have died as a result of injuries sustained during this attack. So to keep the overall context, the extent of the injuries here, remember we were told that 9 were injured initially, 1 of them critical. The latest update since then is that 3 of those people have now died. Hala.